This is the new No-Mods Handbook for Fallout 4 settlement building. I made this settlement just so I could take you through all 9 chapters of the building fundamentals. Let's get started. Each chapter here is meant to build upon the ones that came before it, so that we can keep constructing more complex arrangements as the video goes on. The first 4 pieces we're going to use here are the pillar, the rug, the campfire, and the ashtray. The rug is used to relax collision for items on a horizontal plane. Simply place the item on a rug, and then select the rug, and you can move it around. This only works for items that do not snap to other items. But as you can see here, we can merge the item with environmentals. So what happens if you did want to rug glitch an item that snaps to another item? Well, as you can see here, nothing happens at all. There is a technique that will allow this that we will cover in a later chapter. The next item on our list is the pillar or the post. There are a variety of these in the menu, including the warehouse, the barn, and the concrete pillars. We use them to group select objects and relax collision. You can do this on a horizontal or a vertical plane. You can also move the items around without moving the player camera itself by holding down the following buttons. So what happens when we group select this ashtray with the pillar and we want to move it into the ground inside of the diner here at Starlight? Well, we can see that it won't let us. The campfire allows you to lower items into the ground that are group selected with the pillar. This takes us to the final piece in Chapter 1, which is the ashtray itself. You can group select items with the ashtray and move it around on a horizontal axis. It will allow you to relax collision, to move things into walls, or to merge menu items together. In Part 2, we're going to combine these tools. First, we're going to look at the rug on rug technique by placing a small rug on the edge of a foundation, a large rug on the small rug, and then our item to be moved on the large rug. Then we select the whole set piece by raising the foundation and grabbing the small rug. Then you can move anything on that large rug pretty much wherever you want it. The next technique that we will discuss in this chapter is the rug plus rug, or a rug chain. Sometimes when we place an item on a rug and we try to place it inside of an existing structure, it doesn't have enough clearance. So what we need to do then is to place a series of rugs on top of each other, and then we can get the clearance we need. Sometimes, though, A rug won't do the trick. Notice how that's not level with the ground? Well, we've got to take an additional step. We grab our trusty pillar, group select the whole thing, and then we can move it over here and sink it into the ground. Let's do it again with this gate. Let's go ahead and finish these walls now. The next section of the video involves combining these methods. In particular, we're going to combine the campfire with a pillar. This enables us to sink a pillar in the middle of a floor piece and then move it into a tight space. First we put the campfire on the floor piece, we sink the pillar into the floor piece, and then group select it. Then we can move it pretty much wherever we want to create a cool texture. If you want to place it inside of a building, like the floor of the Starlight diner, then you're going to need to use a campfire, like in the previous section. Now let's build and move an entire structure. See that railing there? Let's learn a quick trick. The railing won't go on those end prefabs. So if we place another floor piece, then place the railings, remove the floor piece, we can snap the small section back in. Using the same campfire and pillar method, we can group select the entire structure and move it wherever we want. As long as we have a campfire up there, we can sink it in place. The roof at Starlight is a bit tricky, admittedly, but it will work. And there we go. The next section involves making two very important tools. The first is a shiller, which we make by putting a shelf on the pillar, and the second is a pillar rack, which involves putting a weapons rack on a concrete post. Adding these extensions gives you a bit of versatility, especially when you're trying to fit these pieces into tight spaces or to do fine detail work. Now let's give the pillar rack a try. The next section of our video combines the Shiller and the ShillarRack with a rug so that we can apply advanced dropping techniques. Here, we are going to drop an ashtray on top of another ashtray, which is something you normally couldn't do. Then we're going to use this combination to move a wall piece. This double-stacked ashtray is called the double barb. It can help you move wall pieces into very tight spaces. Next, we learn how to use the technique called the ShillarRug drop. We put an extra rug there on the end of the Shiller, put an item on the rug, place it where we want it, and then delete the rug under it. The item should drop right onto that table or whatever surface you're trying to use. You can also use the Creation Club rugs that come with the Anniversary Edition, but the smaller ones will work if you don't have them. Now let's combine several different techniques here, rug on rug and the ShillarRug drop. Now we can see here that the ashtray is one of those items that you can't just manually place on that table, so we have to use the rug drop. The next section involves clamping and how you can make the shelf and a weapons rack interact. Over here we have our trusty ShillarRack again. And we can actually add an extension to it. Then move the ShillarRack, and we have floating weapons racks. So what do we do with that? Well, we can put a shelf on it. Then we can use the ShillarRug drop to place items that normally wouldn't go on shelves. But that's not it. Now you can take the shelf and place it anywhere you like, and the item that is on the shelf will clip through other surfaces. Now let's try a more complex arrangement. Not only can you grab the shelf and move the items where you want them, but you can also grab the weapons rack behind it. This allows for some really unique placement. Another great application of the floating weapons racks is that you can place pictures and posters on them. In the same way, you can grab the weapons rack and move it to some unique locations, even snapping them together. You can get really creative with this. Now we're going to do something crazy. We're going to combine the campfire, a shelf, and the pillar rack. This contraption here is called the Sheck Shelf. It allows you to pillar glitch or shiller glitch items into place from distance into very awkward places. Let's make our own. First, you need a wall that you can pillar glitch the shelf off of, then group select it and move it to an open space. Then, we want to ShillarRug drop the campfire onto the shelf. And there you have it. Let's use this technique to repair the windows high up in the projector tower. If you want to be able to tell whether your pillar glitched item will be visible, just hit start. If you can see it when the start menu is up, then it will show. Remember earlier in the video where we learned that you couldn't rug glitch snappable items? Well, here is where we learn how to do that. First thing you'll need is the arrow-shaped sign from the Nickel World menu. If you don't have that, the conveyor belt diverter from the manufacturing menu will work as well. Let's say we wanted to place this doorway. Using the arrow, we can. Simply place it next to it and group select both using the wall, not the arrow. Then move them to a rug. Then select the rug. And now it will go wherever we want it. keep in mind that when you delete the rug, it will drop to its lowest catch point. Even more importantly, you can combine this method with the pillar to lower these items into the ground. And here we use a complicated maneuver where we combine several different techniques. First, we use the arrow rug technique. Then we raise it up into the air, instead of lowering it into the ground. Then we put a Sheck Shelf on a pillar rack, and there we go. Part 8 deals with the wire glitch and cycling lights. So we're just going to pillar glitch a couple of generators into the ground over here, and then wire up a pylon. Now, we are going to place a couple of cycling lights, which is one of my very favorite design options. What happens if you can't get your wire to go to your cycling light? Well, we have to use something called the wire glitch. Simply put the reticule over top of the wire when it's highlighted and hit Y or triangle, and then wire it up. Afterwards, you can change the color of the cycling light. Now we are going to place a cycling light and wire it through the wall. The last section of our resource manual deals with resetting the resource bar and placing junk items. If your resource bar is all the way up and you can't build any more, it's an easy fix. Simply go into your inventory, drop a bunch of guns, go into the workshop menu, and store them all. A great way to decorate your settlement is with unique objects that are scattered around the Commonwealth. These cannot be built in the menu or stored in your inventory. It is a great idea, though, to take the time to gather them up, because they give your settlement a really unique feel. Ever wonder how you get these cars out of your way? Simply drop a heavy weapon and push it. If you ever need to move a settler, grab a turret. If you need to rotate a junk item, use the triggers and click the left stick to change the axis. You can quickly drop 5 or fewer individual junk items by clicking left the number that you want, dropping the bulk amount, then dropping the individual pieces. Make sure to pick up the bulk amount on the ground though, or you will lose your inventory. You can also sit them upright in workshop mode, but they won't place everywhere, so you'll have to do it yourself in many situations. Now before I show you the tour, I have to place all of these junk items. Don't worry though, I'll do that off screen. And the tour will be in the next video. I hope you've enjoyed the video and found it useful. This is not meant to be a comprehensive collection, but rather a small library of some of the newer discoveries that are very important in No-Mods building. If you have any questions about how any of this works, please do feel free to stop by my live stream, and I am happy to demonstrate. And I hope you have appreciated how all of these techniques can work together to build pretty much anything you can imagine.